Hi everyone! Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be cooking 떡만둣국, also known as rice cake dumpling soup. Now this is a common dish cooked on the first day of the Lunar New Year, or also known as 설날 in Korean. Now what we're going to start off is marinating the meat. Now traditionally brisket is often used, but we chose to get sirloin because sirloin is tender and it also has a good amount of fat. So we're gonna cut it this way. And the point is you wanna cut the meat very thinly so that when we cook it, it has a lot of the marination flavor. Now with the marination, we're gonna put the list of how much on the description, but we're gonna put pepper, soup soy sauce, minced garlic, and sesame oil. All right. Now we're gonna put this in here. Oops. We have some ground pepper, 2 tablespoons of soup soy sauce, some minced garlic, and some sesame oil. Now make sure you actually use some force. Don't be afraid to put in some elbow grease. You want it to really soak in the meat, especially because we're marinating it right before we put it in the soup. I don't know why, but sesame oil in meat smells really good. I know that sounds really weird because it's raw meat, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because I love the smell of sesame oil. It always smells so good. All right, now we're gonna cook the meat first. All right, we're gonna let it cook. You don't have to cook it well done, but you do want to cook it so that most of it is cooked. While that's cooking, let's prep the other ingredients. So it's starting to cook. We're gonna cook it a little bit more. But it smells so good already. It's the sesame oil. Now what's important is when you're cooking, you wanna kind of keep stirring it because you don't want the garlic to burn. And now that it's almost all done, we're gonna add about 8 cups of water. I've already gone ahead and measured it out, so I'm just gonna add it straight. Now we're gonna wait maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Ooh, that scared me. 10 to 15 minutes for it to boil. We want to give it actually a lot of time because we want the marination of the meat to kind of give the whole soup a lot of flavor. Now that the water is boiling and we let the meat marination kind of really get into the soup, we're gonna put in the rice cake. Now what's important is you want to put the rice cake in some cold water for about 4 to 6 hours in advance. This helps the rice cake be very tender and soft. Now a fun fact is rice cake is actually the shape of Korean old currency. Now this is supposed to represent wealth and prosperity. So Koreans eat it on the first day of the new year to bring in all the riches for the year. So let's put it in the soup. We're gonna let it cook for about another 10 minutes. We want it to be soft, but it doesn't have to be completely soft because we are gonna add the mandu or the dumplings later and cook it for a little bit more. So once we put in the rice cake, we're gonna wait about 10 more minutes. Next, we're gonna add the mandu. We got soup mandus, but you can use any type of mandus. I think these soup mandus are gonna be perfect. Oops. That one just dove right in. And we're also gonna let this cook for about 5 to 10 minutes. Check on it and see how it is. Now the last thing we're gonna do is add some eggs and green onions. The way we prepared the eggs is we split the egg yolk and the egg white into 2 separate plates or bowls, and then we kind of cooked them separately, and then we sliced it. This might seem interesting, but it's because it helps the visual color. Put some the egg yolk, egg part first, and then we put the egg white. If anyone prefers just the egg whites, that's also fine as well. Again, this is just for the visual effect. We also cut some green onions. Just gonna add it to taste. Oopsie, here. Alright, now it's ready to eat. Now before we eat, I'm gonna go change into a hanbok, which is also the traditional Korean dress. Part of the Korean New Year or Seollal tradition is people like to wear the hanboks. So I'll be right back. 짠! Okay, this is my hanbok. It's a traditional Korean dress. It comes in a variety of colors. I like the sleeve pattern because it reminds me of the rainbow rice cake. So let's go ahead and eat the soup. It's really good. Let me get some the meat and the green onions. You should definitely eat it together. The green onions and the rice and the eggs is an excellent combination. And let's try the soup dumplings. That's really good too. So I would recommend while you're cooking, make sure to taste the soup once in a while. You know, so that it's not too salty, or if it's too bland, you can adjust it right away. But overall, this is a very simple but delicious dish that's healthy and it's for the whole family. So why don't you give it a try this year? Last thing, I'll teach you how to say Happy New Year in Korean. 새해 복 많이 받으세요. Bye guys!